Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to show you how to shallow your downswing in 2 easy steps. For you guys and girls that are still steep, still over the top, these are 2 pieces that you guys are missing that are going to really help you. All right guys, so 2 really important pieces to help you shallow out that downswing. Now, this is similar to the rotation video we did a little bit ago about what you do at setup and in the backswing or before you make your downswing is incredibly important and has a big influence on the downswing pieces you're gonna make. Now, what are the 2 pieces I'm talking about here? Number 1, to shallow out your downswing, when you make a backswing, there's an equal and opposite effect, okay, or a cause and effect. When I go back, if I take the club the most vertical, so I just put a little shaft here to help kind of illustrate this. If I have that pointing straight up and down towards the ground, this would be considered a very vertical backswing, okay? The more I go vertical back, the easier it is for it to shallow coming down. I'm gonna say that one more time. The more I go vertical on the backswing, shaft straight up and down, the easier it is to shallow out going down. Does it absolutely guarantee it? No, but it's pretty darn close. More vertical back, more shallow down. The opposite of more vertical would be more horizontal, okay? So the more horizontal or flat I go back, the stick pointing way over there, the opposite effect is gonna happen. I'm gonna come more vertical or steep on the way down, not shallow. So when I come back, I have this little stick on the ground. I also have a stick in line with the golf ball, and I have a stick in line with my feet. Now, if you watch really good golfers, when they get to the point where their left arm is parallel to the ground in the backswing or halfway back, the extension of the butt of the club or this stick would point somewhere between the 2 sticks on the ground. That is, it would point between the ball target line as the far stick and my toe line as the inside stick, okay? Somewhere between these 2. If you did this drill and your club points outside the ball target line, that would be considered too flat or too horizontal. You have less of a chance to shallow out your downswing with this position. If I make a backswing and I'm inside of those 2, I'm pretty neutral and good. If I am more vertical on the toe line or even inside of that a little bit, that will preset the downswing pieces even easier. So if you haven't been able to shallow out that downswing, look at that part first. Where do you go going back? If you're more horizontal, that's gonna make it harder, more vertical, easier. The second part of this is what the right arm and shoulder do. Now, if you play any other sport, I'm gonna just grab a ball here. If you play baseball or tennis or football, the right arm motion and the shoulder motion for all of those sports, throwing motion or hitting motion, is pretty similar. Where I'm going with this is when I go back, if I were to throw a ball, how my right arm and my right shoulder would look is I would internally rotate my shoulder here. My arm would look like this, right? I'd be here, and then what would happen? It would go this way to throw a ball. If I had a football, I'd go back. My arm would internally rotate. I'd be up here like this, and then it would externally rotate. If I were hitting a tennis racket, same thing, I go back. I would internally rotate my tennis racket for serve, and then I would externally rotate. If I do that same motion with a club, what does that look like? Internally rotate here, like this, to get external rotation, equal and opposite, right? Action, reaction. When I go back, internally rotate, and then that leads to external rotation. Now, if I put that stick on again, this is an exaggeration, obviously, but so you can see, if I go back and I really internally rotate my right arm and shoulder, when I go back here, where does that stick point? It points way even inside of my toe line. That's even past vertical. What would that set myself up really nicely to do? Shallow out this way, right? The more this goes out here, kind of arm parallel to the ground, flying right elbow type of look, the more it should come back in when you come down, and that'll flatten out your angle. Now, do you guys need to go out and be doing this? No, okay, it doesn't need to get crazy with it. All I'm saying is if you've been steep, you're hitting balls for 5 years trying to shallow out your downswing, and you do this going back, it's gonna be a lot harder for you. You're gonna probably have an easier time when you go back if you get this shaft more vertical, let your right arm internally rotate like this, kind of flying right elbow type of look here at the top, and that's gonna kick back in and shallow out when you come back down. You do not wanna get the shaft flat like this. You do not wanna be trying to keep your elbow really tucked here like this. What's the opposite of that? Steep and vertical this way. All right, so I'm gonna hit one or two here, kind of exaggerating those backswing motions. As with anything else, start shorter, start slower, build your way long. If you're someone who has this too flat, pointed outside look, you're gonna wanna feel like that sticks in there, butt of the club straight down towards the ground, very vertical. I'd start with short ones like so. Maybe I'm gonna hit a 9-iron, maybe 100 yards, and notice it going vertical back, and then how it shallows out coming down. Now there's other pieces involved with this. What I'm trying to do is set you up as good as possible for the downswing pieces to happen automatically. And the more I get this back in this fashion, the more it's going to want to shallow out by itself when we come down. Two really important pieces to help you guys and gals shallow out your downswing. If you've been having a hard time fighting that, check your backswing pieces. Make them a little more vertical. Let your right arm internally rotate or fly out a little bit. That'll help your downswing pieces a lot. I hope that helps. Leave us a comment below if you guys have any questions.